Hello everyone, this is Derrick Broze with the Conscious Resistance Network, and today is Thursday, December 6th, 2018, and I have a brief update for you guys. I'll try to keep it brief. First, I want to remind you guys to, of course, bookmark theconsciousresistance.com so you can continue to see our content. You have just over 3 weeks left before we stop posting on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Google, Amazon, etc., and will only be found on this website, on BitChute, on Steemit, on Minds, and on MeWe. And we will be putting out videos soon talking all about these alternative platforms and some others that we've found to see which ones you guys might want to try. So bookmark our site so you can get all of our content. So today we're talking about Michael Flynn, the former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn. We're talking about QAnon. We're going to talk about the Clinton Foundation, a couple different topics that are related in some ways. And again, I'm going to try to keep this short, not get too long-winded, because I want to keep it flowing very easily. And first I want to say, for those who are new here, if you've never heard me talk about QAnon and you're getting ready to troll me, please, before you freak out, go watch my other 2 videos on QAnon. I'll post those in the description below. And I'm sure some of you will just discount it anyways, but I do try to have some respectful discourse for those who disagree with me. Unfortunately, lately it hasn't been that way on Facebook. I'm currently getting trolled by a bunch of Q supporters who think that they're slowing me down or something, but let's get into it. So yesterday it was announced that, or 2 days ago now, it was announced that Robert Mueller, special counsel who's been investigating whether Trump colluded with the Russians in the 2016 election, that he is recommending no prison time for former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn for his substantial assistance. So it's been kind of speculated that Flynn was, not going to be, seeing jail time, and of course I think some on the left were hoping that he was going to go to jail, or hoping that, the Mueller could squeeze information out of him related to Trump. And it does seem that Flynn participated, cooperated in some way. We don't really know exactly what specifically. For those who don't know the background, I'll let you read this article. Yes, it's coming from the Washington Post. Find your own source if you want to know the background. But this is what really matters. Is it says Tuesday's sentencing memo. So Mueller files a sentencing memo on Tuesday, describing Flynn's assistance in ongoing cases. Not only in the ongoing case with Trump and the alleged Russia collusion, but also apparently other cases. So it says Tuesday's sentencing memo was heavily redacted, and I'll see if I can show you a copy of it. It's just, as you expected, a government redaction. Continues to shroud in secrecy the details of what Flynn has told Mueller's team and other prosecutors. Special counsel wrote that Flynn has provided information for several ongoing investigations, participating in 19 interviews with federal prosecutors, and turning over documents and communications. So right there, that makes it clear that he's not only participating and cooperating when it comes to this alleged Russia collusion, but apparently other ongoing investigations, and gave up to 19 interviews with federal prosecutors and documents and communications. Now, what I'm seeing take place here is there are those, of course, who are kind of anti-Trump, who think that, oh, of course, this extra information, it probably relates to all the other salacious things that Trump's up to, and all his supporters and his allies are going to go down because, Flynn's just singing like a bird, right? And then you have the other side, the Trump supporters and, let's say, the QAnon supporters, who think that this Flynn participating in 19 interviews and contributing information to several ongoing investigations is actually about arresting the Obamas and the Clintons and all of the cabal, because that side of things, the right wing, the Trump supporters, the QAnon supporters, think that Trump is secretly working, with people, good guys within, to bring down the deep state and the cabal and the shadow government and things like that. I'm pretty sure you guys know I don't buy into that whole idea, and I haven't forever. I've never got into that. I didn't support it from the beginning, and I still continue to be skeptical of these ideas. But that's kind of the divide I'm seeing here, is that those who support Trump, they say that this is evidence that there are mass arrests coming, right? That there are going to be declassification of documents that expose Obama and that expose the Clintons and even the Trumps and the Bushes, excuse me, but has nothing to do with Trump. That's their version of reality, right? And then the other people's version of reality, the anti-Trump people, say, like as I just stated, that this is going to be everything that they needed to get on Trump. This will have all the evidence that they need to put Trump away for collusion, or at least to remove him from the presidency and to impeach him once the Democrats come into office and take control in the next few weeks. So depending on which version of reality you want to live in, you can take your pick. Me personally, I'm remaining skeptical because the fact of the matter is, and this is to my QAnon, if any of you are still there or you're coming to troll me, we don't have evidence. Yes, I know you guys think that QAnon posts are evidence and you try to say, like, look, this was posted before this. I've already disproved some of those timestamps. Have I disproved every single one of them? No, it doesn't really matter to me. I know that it seems, and the evidence would point to the fact that QAnon and this sort of thing was designed to excite the Trump base and get people to continue following Trump, despite the fact that he's got the biggest military budget ever, dropping bombs on people, continuing to support Israel, Saudi Arabia, surveillance state, police state, attacking whistleblowers, talking about going after Assange, talking about all these kinds of things. They will make excuses, the QAnon and the Trump supporters, because they say it's a part of the plan, just trust the plan. And in fact, they say that the Mueller investigation into Trump is actually not about Trump, that it's a fake out, and he's actually investigating the Clintons and the Bushes and the Obamas. So this whole thing is fake. And so from that line of thinking, when they hear this and they see that Flynn is participating in, the several investigations, they see this as evidence of their indictments that they have been saying are coming. For those who aren't aware, they say there's, I think the number's up to 60,000 indictments that they claim are evidence that there are about to be mass arrests, and then military tribunals, maybe a temporary state of martial law. These are things that QAnon has promised. You guys can say that Q didn't promise anything was going to happen on D5, because that's another thing. For a while, Q has been pushing this idea of D5, something was going to happen on December 5th, right? That was yesterday. What did happen? Well, the day before this, on the 4th, we had this announcement about Flynn. On December 5th, we had George H.W. Bush, Daddy Bush's funeral, which saw all of the former presidents sitting next to each other. And so the QAnon crowd is saying, do you think it's a coincidence that on D5 we have George H.W. Bush's funeral? I don't know if they're trying to imply that QAnon killed him or that the good guys killed him. I mean, he's an old freaking dude. Of course he's dead. But they're saying that was a part of, the whole plan. The other thing is, there was apparently supposed to be a House committee on a study of the Clinton Foundation, to look into the Clinton Foundation on December 5th. And that was rescheduled till December 13th. Also, it was recently reported that the whistleblower from the Clinton Foundation, that he was raided, and there's that ongoing thing. So I hope I'm not confusing too many of you, but what I'm pointing out here is that you have something going on with the Clinton Foundation where the government is actually going to do a case study and to look into this. But this doesn't say an investigation. It doesn't say that, this is going to include tantalizing details of what took place or the Clintons involved in human trafficking or anything like that the Trump supporters are hoping for. It doesn't necessarily mean that. Yes, it means that this is ongoing. And sure, it was scheduled for December 5th and that was rescheduled. According to Q, that was the deep state trying to stop the truth from coming out. And even the Bush funeral is said to have been part of Q's plan, or part of the deep state's plan, that they, that all these things are just coming together. And my point with bringing this up is, in the mainstream, people are looking at this and Flynn as if it relates to the Russia investigation. Honestly, I still haven't seen substantial evidence pointing to Trump, hacking the election with the Russians. Did Trump and his people have connection to the Russians? But yes, absolutely. Anybody who denies that is just an idiot. There are all sorts of people around Trump who are getting shown to have been connected to Russians and meeting with Russians and potentially making deals. Even Flynn himself admitted to lying. I mean, there's all kinds of circumstantial evidence pointing that Trump having a relationship with certain Russian officials. But there's no clear evidence that they hacked the election. Potential collusion, we'll see. So that's kind of the mainstream perspective. The more right-wing conspiracy QAnon perspective says that this is all about, what the real truth about mass arrests and military tribunals coming, right? So I made a post on Facebook on the Conscious Resistance. Let me just open this up real quick, talking about the D5. And since then, I've been getting, I don't know what you would call it, trolled. I don't take it personally. These people, I don't know if they think that they're actually effective with trying to troll. But as you will see here in just a moment, that my page has just been blown up with QAnon supporters. And basically what I was saying, and what I've continuously said about this whole QAnon thing, is stop sitting around, stop waiting for people to solve things for you, and take action in your own life. Take action in your own community. Stop waiting for Q to come save the day, or thinking that, you know, that there's this secret team that are coming to fix things. That's just a big part of the problem. So I made this post saying, hey guys, what happened? D5 has come to pass. And if you've seen my last videos, then you know Q has also promised, what did he say? There was going to be a Red October. Then he said there was going to be, we were going to have September was Emergency Preparedness Month, right? You guys remember that? There was supposed to be a text coming from Trump that would tell everybody the plans about when the mass arrests were going to take place. And despite that, and despite D5 coming and nothing taking place, these people continue to believe in that. Now, I will say, because I know the QAnon supporters are going to say, show me where Q said mass arrests were coming on D5. So I looked into this, right? Perhaps I was incorrect. Perhaps Q didn't promise that D5 was the day that the arrests were going to take place. But still, Q has been building up D5 as something was going to take place. Look, this is back in May 2018. The snowball has begun rolling. There is no stopping it now. D5, stay the course and trust the plan. Protective measures are in place. I mean, this whole thing, it's like, whoever's running this likes to put certain words in like brackets and parentheses and use abbreviations, and so I think that these people think they're getting like a secret code, and so they feel like they're a part of this team, and I don't know, it gets them all excited. But if you look at this, so since May, Q has been building up. What you're about to learn should not only scare you, but intensify your resolve to take back control, freedom. The information that will become public will further demonstrate the criminal and corrupt, pure evil abuse of the power that the Hussein administration, which is Obama, undertook in joint efforts with domestic and foreign dignitaries. So they're saying D5, right? So let's see how many times. In May 17th, Q posts a link to a document that says, God bless the United States of America, D5. D5. So this has been being pushed the entire summer, since last spring, this idea of D5. Here we go in June. So we have a number of times that Q has continued to say D5. Let me find the next one. Was the truth revealed? Important marker. Think connections D5. So my point here in showing this is that Q, whoever they, he, it are, they've been building up this idea that there was going to be some mass release. Why is POTUS pushing the FBI and DOJ on this issue? Blah, blah, blah. Why was the information? I mean, it's just, I'm not going to read through all these, but my point is that this D5 thing has been pushing. There's snowball has begun rolling. There's no stopping it. Stay the course. It's the same thing over and over. And they're just trying to get this idea in people's heads that D5 is going to be something. Think declassification, and he keeps linking to documents. So the idea here, nothing to see here, D5, Red October, like I said, December 5th, D5, nothing can stop what is coming, nothing. This election is about fixing the economy, trade, borders, military, protecting our children. This was not simply another 4-year election. So they're trying to claim that like Trump getting elected was like the beginning of the turnaround. Do you believe in coincidences? Think D5. So now they're basically saying the fact that odds of a state funeral on D5, how many coincidences before mathematically impossible? So they're just trying to say like, oh my God, the funeral happened on D5. That must mean it's truthful, right? And then we get to this point where it says, what are the odds that the Huber would be scheduled to testify re the Clinton Foundation on D5? And that's what I was talking about. There was supposed to be testimony that got rescheduled. What are the odds that George H.W. Bush passed away and the state funeral is on D5? I mean, I don't know. What does that even mean? It doesn't prove anything, guys. Why does the global fake news continually attack Q? And that's, I've been called, I'm fake news now because I'm attacking Q. My point here is, guys, I don't see any clear evidence that any of this points to Q being real. And in fact, I will just post a couple more links, and I know you guys who are hardcore Q supporters probably won't even bother reading it because I'm sure you've seen this and somebody's tried to show it to you and you've just dismissed it. But for those who want to look into this, this is what appears to be more evidence that people from within the whole Q troll thing admitting that like it was a part of a LARP that they were doing. And this is another one by Unirock, which all the QAnon supporters hate Unirock because I guess he's done a good job of exposing them. QAnon identity revealed, 100% solved. And this is worth looking at, right? So these two videos I will include, or this video and this little article here is worth your time. My point in bringing all this stuff up, because I know it can be kind of heavy or distracting, is that there are bits and nuggets of truth mixed in here with what QAnon talks about, with what whoever the heck QAnon currently is posts about. There are nuggets of truth mixed in with lots of claims and speculation and insinuation. And I've already shown in the other videos that Q typically posts after Trump, or after certain events. People get the time signatures wrong. Apparently people don't know how to read the time signatures, and so they constantly think that Q is saying things before Trump, and then Trump goes and confirms it. Now let me say this. It is potentially possible that at some point Trump did get involved in the Q LARP, because what I've found is that it was an effort to excite the Trump base. So maybe Trump wasn't initially involved. Maybe once they saw that it started to grow, they decided, hey, you know what? We need to get Trump on board with this, because this is getting his followers all excited. It's getting them to ignore the war and to ignore all of the more of the same that Trump is continuing. More of the same as Obama, as Bush, etc. So the reason I wanted to talk about this is because an issue like this, which has some grounding in normal everyday reality, but is twisted by the Deadstream corporate media to be focused on the Russian investigation, which, as I said, I don't really completely buy. And then it's twisted by the other side, the more conspiratorial-minded, the fringe of the conspiracy movement. Because let me tell you, the QAnon people think that they are the hardcore truthers of the true truther movement, but they're the fringe. You guys are the outsiders. You're the fringe. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to hate on you. Believe what you want, but you're not leading the way. You're not leading the way to anything. You're just following the establishment by supporting Trump and by supporting this whole QAnon nonsense. But it's important to dissect real-world events and to say, hey, this is what we know as facts. Flynn says he's speaking, Mueller said Flynn has spoken in a number of investigations and is calling for him to receive no jail time. That's a fact. He gave 19 interviews. He helped in several investigations. Now the QAnon supporters say, well, this is related to the coming mass arrests and military tribunals that they've been promised forever. And the mainstream says, no, this is potentially related to more Russia indictments. Who the heck knows? At this point, we don't know. It could be more Russia stuff. It could be that Flynn knows more things and is trying to bring down other people. And, it's the Obamas or the Clintons. Who knows? None of us know. That's the whole point. But I don't buy this idea that QAnon has some inside information and you guys can continue to follow it if you want. My whole point here is just to say we need to continue to be skeptical. This is interesting to me because in their minds, the QAnon supporters, this validates what they've been told, that there secretly are all these things going on. And I will say this as well. Come the end of Trump's presidency, if no arrests have happened, as I expect, and no military tribunals, I don't expect any apologies from any QAnon supporters. I never got any apologies from Obama supporters or Bush supporters who make excuses as well, and I don't expect it from Trump supporters. But if I am wrong and we see mass arrests like never before, then you can expect me to expose it and to talk about it and to be real about it. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to hide away if I'm wrong. So that's it. Hope you guys found this valuable. Please consider following us on theconsciousresistance.com. If you want to support even further, go to patreon.com/Derrick Broze. Check out all our latest content. And until next time, remember, you are powerful, you are beautiful, you are free. Peace.